So here are a few more details on how I went about storyboarding that fight scene that I'm working on. So when it came to finding reference, I used a collection of still images and video. So I would go on Pinterest and just look at a bunch of different poses, anything that I found interesting that tells a story. So it didn't matter if it was real people or if it was already drawn. So what I was really interested in, even if there were two different images, I wanted to find if I could create some sort of connection between them to create one cohesive scene or combo. So I saved hundreds of these images. And just kind of as I'm looking through them, I let my imagination run wild, seeing if I could think about what comes before or after that certain shot, and if I could combine it with something else. For example, I really loved this image of a character running at a low angle. So bringing it into Procreate, I used it as a reference for my layout, but then added in a few more running poses. So now we have this cool running shot. For these two images, I loved the backflip, and I also loved this dynamic superhero landing pose. So in Procreate, I took that backflipping image here, right? Of course, I had to add in the other keyframes. When he lands, we used that same landing pose as a reference. And when you put these pieces together, we get the backflip, the land, and then that running scene. Right, so I thought this was a really fun way to work. You know, I could look at some awesome poses from some awesome artists, take some cool reference, kind of use my own imagination to see how I would piece those references together to create a shot that I wanted. It was great to have reference for camera angles, body perspective, and composition. And I would also do the same thing when I used video reference as well. When I would find a reference that I really liked, like this Link vs. Pit animation, I loved this shot right here. I really loved that shot. So when I was creating my scene, right, I have that same perspective and I'm using those same key poses to kind of block in that action. And once I take this into animation, I could change the timing or the spacing to fit my needs. And in the final version, I only used part of that as reference. And then I added in, you know, a different ending to the shot right here. But it all started with that initial scene that I saw. I found since this was my first time doing such an intense action scene, I needed to get reference every step of the way. But this process kind of made it fun. It never really felt like a chore. It never really felt boring. I was always excited to see what I could come up with. And in the end, I was able to get it done a lot faster and a lot better than if I didn't. So let me know what you guys think. Do you like to use reference? Do you not like to use reference? How do you use reference? Let me know in the comments. Once again, guys, huge thank you to all of our members. We're still growing. It's a great little community there. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I also used reference